Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, December 6th, 2024. It's a beautiful day, and it's a wonderful evening. Let's give a shout out here to everyone in our chat. Good to see you, El Mono. Good to see you, Hellboy. Much love, Gandhi. Much love, Christy. Good to see you, Valerie. D-Love, much love. Holler Haint, much love. Nikosmas, great to see you. To Phoenix, much love. Mother Rhea, all the love in the world. Great to see you. N.A., much love. Sonia, much love. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's begin by talking a bit about our astrology. So for the astrology, we are in the moon in Aquarius. The moon in Aquarius. Beautiful, intense energy. It's that energy of wanting to socialize, of wanting to connect and be in flow, of wanting to move, of wanting to be our most inner self and express it to its fullest extent in all of its eccentricities. You know, we really want to embody that movement, that play, that joy, and that fun, right? With this Aquarius energy, we're going to actually kind of revolt against domesticity, want to move outside of the home, engage with friends, be in that loving, playful nature. And with that Sagittarius sun, we're going to feel this doubly so, because Sagittarius is that willful actor, that one who also wants to move and pursue their desires, to be in motion, right? Who sets their sight on the prize like the archer and takes shot. Right? So with this energy, we want to be in that motion, in that flow. We want to be in that energy of fun. And we want to be in this energy of expressing ourselves from our depth. Beautiful. All right, let's talk for a moment about the title. Be cautious of violence, no matter how just. Intense energy, this energy. When I was meditating this morning, I drew that Queen of Swords. That incredible energy of, that justice, that bringer of redemption, that energy of that queen who defends herself, who stands up and raises her sword, right? Who does what is necessary, who is also that educator, right? But when I was meditating upon this energy and thinking about it deeply, I got this sense that we really need to be in balance and recognize that often this pursuit of justice can lead to this revelry and to this madness. It can lead to this swinging, right, of the pendulum to an intensity. I was thinking on this and looking through various art blocks to find a picture, and I found this incredible painting that I used, which shows that Lady Justice, but it's that Lady Justice in the midst of a revolution, right, around the horror of her actions. Right? Again, a lot of this revolutionary anger, this revolutionary violence, it may be just, but it goes to this intense extreme and it can lead to this insanity. I immediately remember reading about the French Revolution and what happened with Robespierre. The violence got to such a point where at one point they brought out the nuns, the Catholic nuns, and they executed Catholic nuns. And when they started to execute these women, the people finally snapped, and then they wound up executing Robespierre. We see how this violence can become seductive and maddening and lead to such extremes and intensity, even if it's born out of that reason and out of that righteousness. This is that message again of the tit for tat. When this violence starts to go intense, eventually someone has to step back. It's not about the justice. Eventually someone has to stand back and take the hit. I immediately think of that incredible play, the Oresteia, right? What happens at the end of the Oresteia, even after all is said and done, the Furies manifest and they say that they must get vengeance upon Orestes. Right? The gods must get vengeance upon Orestes because Orestes killed his parents, right? Orestes committed a mortal sin in that Greek culture of that time. So the Furies in their madness come down to kill Orestes, right? Even if the rest of the community wants the violence to end, wants this to stop, the universe can't. It's not until the goddess Athena herself intervenes and she calms the Furies and transforms them into the Eumenides. And she does it through taking the violence, through accepting it and not hitting back, through that energy of forgiveness, and through the establishments of communal courts of law, through coming together and understanding that personal justice always leads to this cyclical violence, this swinging to extremes. It can never be satiated, you know? It can never be satiated. This is why we need trials and courts. This is why this is such an important part of the city and of that Athenian energy. And so the message here is about this, right? Be careful of that justice, even if it's righteous, because violence begets violence. Violence begets violence. So we must always stand with reason, always stand with reason, and try to do what is right in that sense of community, in that sense of greater understanding, right? All right. Intense energy, and it's a hard energy for people to reconcile with, but it is the energy I received nonetheless. All right. We are now going to go to the Ganapati oracle. Ganapati is that divine child, the guardian of the threshold, the master of the spirits, the Ganas. And we ask them to send us an inspiring message and ensure that our words are heard by those who need to hear them. So Lord Ganesha, Ganapati, what is the inspiring message? Okay. Today is healing. Today is healing energy. And we see Ganapati on the back of the majestic peacock, right? That incredible, beautiful bird that brings that array of colors, the entirety of the rainbow in their self-expression, right? This is about coming into that full expression of self, about embracing the totality of being and of being in that energy of healing, being in that energy of letting go. You know, we're just talking about this. This is such beautiful. We're getting clarity on the title even further still, because what we're seeing is that we need to heal, to let go of the need for vengeance, for the need for justice even, because often these things, you know, what do they bring? What do they manifest truly? Right? That healing energy is about forgiveness. It's about moving in flow. It's about acceptance, and it's about evolving past these moments to create something better, to heal as a community also, right? To heal greater. When we think of that energy of the Oresteia and of Athena and Orestes, we recognize that it was a communal healing that needed to occur, that they needed to establish those courts of law to be able to overcome personal vendetta and blood violence, blood libel, right? And they did it through this communal healing and through the incorporation. The court is an extension in the story of the Temple of the Muses, right? After they have their feast at the Galaxia, they hold the court of law, you know? We really need to embrace that energy of learning also to love the self and love others, right? If we're able to commit this incredible violence, even in the means of justice, like, what are we truly doing? What are we truly doing? You know, we must recognize, right? Like when you burn stuff down, you smash things, you upset systems, you're not changing much of anything, right? People are still people. They're still here. They still need to be reconciled with. That revolution does not happen in a day. It doesn't happen in a day, no matter how many heads roll, you know? You got to go through that long, slow process of healing, of loving forgiveness, of trying to understand and coming to a place of understanding, you know? It is incredibly hard. It is incredibly hard. There's no bones about it. But it begins with the self and taking responsibility for that self, right? The true war begins with the mirror. The true battle begins with the mirror, right? You must learn to face yourself and to face your actions and figure out what you need to do to best be in flow, to be your best self, to rise above, right? And when you can do that, when you can love yourself and see yourself truly, that's when you can forgive and move and help others. And you can engage in that healing with the community. But we see this so often. You know, we keep talking about this energy lately of the Prince of Swords, another sword energy. And that Prince of Swords energy, right? That idealistic cruelty that comes about out of holding these ridiculous, absurd, idealistic things to ourselves, right? Holding our community, forcing ourselves to have to live up to these unreachable standards, these unreachable binds, binding ourselves to things like religion, to culture, to nation, to any of these things that hold us back, that keep us fighting, that keep us in team sports, that prevent us from seeing our neighbor. And instead we focus on ideology when in the earth, in the immediate present, when does this even come into play? You know, it gets so intense. And why we need to begin with that healing energy, that loving energy. Love the self. Do not hold the self to unreachable standards. Do not be cruel to the self. And then you won't do the same to others. You won't judge others. You won't hold other people to intense ridiculousness. You know, you'll better be able to see the self and the other. All right. We're now going to go to our sortes. Today, we're going to begin with Don Juan in Hell by Bernard Shaw. The sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the spirits, the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to send us a message through the text. So muses, what is the inspiring message from Don Juan in Hell and Bernard Shaw? Do my sex the justice to admit, Senora, that we have always recognized that the sex relation is not a personal or friendly relation at all. Do my sex the justice to admit, Senora, that we have always recognized that the sex relation is not a personal or friendly relation at all. And this is funny. The response is the appropriate response. Anna says, not a personal or friendly relation. What relation is more personal, more sacred, more holy? Right? This is such a profound, interesting energy. And we see this dichotomy of, you know, where in some instances, sex can become that battlefield, that conquest, that seeking of self-gratification. But then on the other hand, it can be that deep, intimate, personal connection, you know, and what we're seeing here is the opposite poles reacting to each other. But both are fundamentally true on some level, right? Interesting. Entering into that absurd early, I see. Here we go. Women who run with wolves. Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Muses, what is the message from women who run with wolves? In various African and Carib communities, the symbol of twin sisters is said to possess juju, the mystical energy of the soul. Therefore, it is required that twins be impeccably taken care of lest a bad fate befall the entire community. One precaution from the Hoodoo religion of Haiti requires that twins always be fed exactly the same measured portions in order to summarily allay all jealousy between them, but more so to prevent the wasting away of one of them. For if one dies, so shall the other. And the special soulfulness they bring to the community will be lost. This energy of the twins, this image of the twins is such a profound image. You know, I've been looking into this a bit lately. And one place where I was looking and finding this is at Delphi itself. And the oldest stories of Delphi, right after the birth of Apollo and Artemis, the goddess Ilithuia, the great nursemaid who helped Leto give birth, first to Artemis, and then Artemis helps Leto give birth to Apollo, right? They set up the shrine, this old shrine to Ilithuia on Delphi. It said that she goes to Delphi. And then while she's there at Delphi, two majestic twins from Hyperborea, two, ride down to give her gifts and to bestow, you know, their honor. And they're called Opus and Argi, two divine twins from the north, feminine, you know, and they go to Delphi and they set up shop there and live there. And what's so wild about this is that up until the very end at Delphi, there was a shrine to Opus and Argi, but the meaning of the shrine got lost to time. And people just used to light a fire and honor the Hyperborean maidens, but the story itself was lost. And when they were doing archaeology, they found that there was actually in the oldest cave, or one of the oldest caves they found a temple where they were worshiping these twin sisters from Hyperborea, these Amazonian Scythian type women who had come to honor the goddess Ilithuia. But at one point, that cave was sealed up and was moved to a higher cave where they instead worshiped the Dioscuri, right? The Dioscuri, another set of twins, but male twins, who happened to abduct two Hyperborean women to become their brides, twins as well. But they are subservient, abducted. So you see this patriarchal displacement quite literally happening. But anyway, don't mean to diverge too much, but the point with this energy of the twins and then being representative in the heart of this community and being able to sustain the community and bring that temple, that beautiful magic. This is at the core out of all of these kinds of stories. We see this so often, right? And it's even in the Greek, it's originally a feminine story, Opus and Argi. Pollux and Castor come later. So interesting. Wow. And then we also get this imagery with the twins always, that in order for this, one is higher than the other. There's a dichotomy. One is lower, one is deemed lesser or is somewhat deformed, and one has more of a heavenly spiritual pursuit. And usually a sacrifice has to occur in these myths where the one twin dies, is reborn so that the other twin can ascend to their highest point. We see this sort of alluded to in the stories with Apollo and Dionysus. They're not specifically twins themselves, but they are brothers. And there's this interesting energy that goes on there. But you see this like with the Ashvins in the Hindu myth. One has to die for the other to ascend. So much wildness. All right, let's continue. We are now going to go to Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained by Milton. All right. Muses, what is the message from Milton? Inspire us this evening. Profaned first by the serpent, by him first made common and unhallowed ere our taste, nor yet on him found deadly, he yet lives as thou saidest, and gains to live as man, higher degree of life, inducement strong. To us, as likely tasting to attain proportional ascent, which cannot be but to be gods or angels, demigods. Oh, wow. Profaned first by the serpent, by him first made common and unhallowed, ere our taste. Profaned first by that serpentine energy, right? And that profaning, that flipping of the poles, that attacking of something in order to transform and to bring about its mirror, right? Powerful magic in the profaning. Made common and unhallowed ere our taste. Made common and unhallowed. What did he do? He exposed us, gave us wisdom and knowledge. And what did it do? Is it made what once seemed magical commonplace, what once tasted special uninteresting, right? Unhallowed. It lost its sacredness through that exposure. This is one of the things that wisdom destroys, right? It's in the mystery. It's in that realm of not having clarity that magic can exist. All right. Nor yet on him found deadly, he yet lives. Lives as thou saidst, and gains to live as man. Higher degree of life, inducement strong to us, as likely tasting to attain proportional ascent, which cannot be but to be gods or angels, demigods. That serpent seeks to do the same thing that man does, to rise and to ascend. How interesting. Nor yet on him found deadly, he yet lives. Lives as thou saidst, and gains to live as man. He gains to live as man. Higher degree of life, inducement strong to us, as likely tasting to attain proportional ascent. He seeks to attain that same proportional ascent, which cannot be to be gods or angels, demigods, which cannot be but to be gods. This really makes me think of that Attis Dionysus energy, right? Interesting. That cyclical force, right? Has to rise to the stars to become that deity in full. That Heracles, right? Interesting. Let's continue. We're now going to go to Magia by Alan Chapman. Muses, what is the message for Magia? Inspire us. Yes, it was different. I do not know how to describe it other than godly. And this state seemed like it was beyond this abiding still oneness. Yes. Do you think this state has something to do with what might be next? Yes. I have glimpsed of something different a number of times over the last year, mostly in the heart area, which is usually quite contracted. Oh, wow. That energy of the love, right? The heart, the center where that Aphroditic energy, that snake bites you, right? It was different. I do not know how to describe it other than godly. An experience, something that was godly. And this state seemed like it was beyond this abiding still one, beyond this abiding still oneness. Beyond the abiding still oneness. This is something that we see in certain Indian sects. It makes me think immediately of Kashmir Shaivism and Abhinavagupta, and how in their school, it's not enough to recognize the one. You must then reaffirm the one and the many. You have to go through that experience of oneness, experience the many, and then oneness again. And it's that second oneness that allows you to appreciate the absurdity, to see both extremes in that interconnection, right? Beyond the abiding still oneness. It's not that the oneness isn't true, but there's something still beyond it. Do you think this state has something to do with what might be next? What comes after? Yes, I have had glimpses of something different a number of times over the last year, mostly in the heart area, which is usually quite contracted. I experienced this in the heart, not the mind. I experienced this in the heart, not the mind. Interesting. All right. Let us now, let's see, let's go to Goethe, Faust. Muses, what is the message from Goethe in Faust? Inspire us. I at random words sit sweating hot, and though I long to smash the lot, I cannot give to one the lie. Wow. I at random words sit sweating hot, and though I long to smash the lot, I cannot give to one the lie. I desire to tear it all down, but I can't lie to them and replace it with something BS, right? To destroy everything is to remove that entireness of foundation. This is what we're seeing, often in that righteous sense of justice, in that recognition of the ugliness, we want to smash the world, right? We see this in Lord Byron's Cain, right? When you're confronted with the reality, it becomes so anger-inducing. You want to lash out. You need to lash out in some ways, right? There's that energy of having to expose. But then arises the question, there are so many people who live under the veil, who can't understand, who are not capable, who are not in a place to. The world, even if it's not beautiful, is functioning for many. And who are we to come and smash shit down? And what do we have to replace it with? What do you have to replace it with? Often, our wisdom is one-sided. We see the ugliness, but when we don't know the truth, right? What do you replace it with? I'm not saying that we don't need to revolt and evolve, but the issue is always in how much, right? What do we tear down? What needs to be rejected? And what do you replace it with? These are all questions that need to be answered and need to be thought upon. Let's continue. All right. We'll do one final sortes. A sinister assassin, Antonin Artaud. All right. Muses, what is the message from Antonin Artaud? There does not exist the fullness. There only exists the void. There does not exist the void. There only exists the fullness. Me, my entire resistance. I am eggless, is beyond the void and beyond the fullness. Wow. I feel like Antonin Artaud would love Abhinavagupta. There does not exist the fullness. There only exists the void. There does not exist the void. There only exists the fullness. The paradox, the absurdity, the one and the many on full display. Me, my entire resistance. My entire resistance. I'm eggless. I am not born. I refuse to be born. Is beyond the void and fullness. I'm beyond the void and fullness. I'm beyond all of this. I transcend this cycle. I break free. I go back through that womb. I transcend the egg. I am not born into this reality. I exist in that ionic sphere. Oh, wild. Love it. Okay. We are now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does help everything out. It makes a big difference, boosts everything in the algorithm, and I would truly, truly appreciate it. And if anyone is interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, snappydts@gmail.com. You can find my email in the description below. And today we're going to be using the Tabula Mundi Tarot by M.M. Moline. And we'll be invoking that energy of Saturn and asking them to dissect our life, to expose it upon the plate, to show us the interconnection so we can figure out how to best move and flow, how to rise above the conflict, how to manifest our true will, and what the greater message for our community is. And as always, the center card is our most important card. And today we had a card shoot out at us right at the beginning. 9 of discs. 9 of discs. Beautiful energy, that 9 of discs, you know. Absolutely love it, right? And with the 9 of discs in our center here, you know, the 9 is all about expansion, incredible, transcendent expansion. The 9 always increases forever. It is the most powerful number in that Pythagorean number system, right? It's the end before we begin a new cycle. It is energy at its strongest. And in that earth, it is all about manifesting gain in the earth, creating that which is tangible, really building something true, right? Something that can grow. Beautiful. Love it. So when we see it here, we're seeing incredible growth and potential. And it's going to expand beyond what we can even imagine. Where is it going? Wow. Let's see. We got that energy here of the magus. The magus. How beautiful. The magician, right? That Hermes energy. That energy of bringing into conscious form our desires and manifesting them through the force of our will, right? Engaging in that play and doing what is necessary, telling the story, giving birth to work, speaking our desires into reality. So in order to manifest that 9 of gain, we must embody the magician. We must give voice. We must tell our story, and we must ask. We must ask, and then we can receive. Beautiful. Let's see what's happening on the other side here. We have that Prince of Fire. Wow. Such intense energy. The air of fire, right? You know, we've talked a lot about these Prince energies because they're such reckless, intense energy. You know, there's so much potential, so much high-mindedness, right? This is that energy of the one in pursuit of that pleasure to its full extent. Their desire leads them to the heights of imagination. But in that Prince energy, they're showing up reckless and selfish. They're showing up in conflict, pursuing that desire solely for their own gain and for their own vision, right? And it's a vision that is outside of the earth. It's something that exists in the head, in the self. It's not a real goal in any tangible sort of sense. It is something that is mystical and beyond, yet they don't see it as such. And they're willing to burn their reality down in order to manifest it. You know, passionate, powerful energy that can transform the world or burn it down in that blaze, seeking that imagined greater thing, which may or may not ever materialize. You know, so when we see this energy here, and we see it connected to that 9 of discs and to that magus, what I'm seeing is that there's this need to refine and to re-engage our desire. We need to move out of this airiness and down into this earthiness. You know, the magician is able to walk that middle pace. They can they can put the thread through the eye of the needle. They can walk the mountain. They can move between worlds. They can manifest of the unconscious and bring it into that conscious awareness because they are balanced within the self, you know? In many ways, the magus is that androgyne energy, right? They're in complete control of their being. And that is the only way that they can bring about that gain, that 9. So what we see here with this Prince energy of this Wands, there is this need to balance. There is this need to get out of that airiness and to bring oneself back into the earth. And there is a need to be in that responsible, reasoned energy, right? We want to manifest that energy of the Knight, the one that can understand and can work with others. The Prince has a very hard time working with others. You know, it's not their MO. Doesn't mean they can't do it, right? Especially if it's to suit their own goals. But that Prince struggles with seeing outside of the self and their own imagination. They're caught up in their dream, right? And this manifesting in the earth, it's not that airiness by any means, right? Let's see where this is going. Okay. Oh, wow. Intense energy on the bottom. Connected to that 9 of discs, that tower, that Aries energy that comes and pulls the rug out from under you, right? That pulls the rug out from under you and upsets your current moment. This is that attack that we don't see coming, right? This is that energy we don't see affecting us, that catches us off guard and ruins what we've been building or threatens what we've been building. The question is, can you move through this great upset? Can you return back to your foundational energy and rebuild? How do you overcome loss? How do you face something that you're unsure of, that you don't even necessarily see coming until it is here, right? And this, yeah. The Grove of Mars is such a profound image, Vox. It's one that comes up constantly in the mythology, that gets talked about often. I've probably mentioned it recently, but we see it most predominantly in the story of Medea, right? In order to gain that golden fleece, Jason must walk into the field of Mars and must face the dragon and must use the magic of Medea to put the dragon to sleep. Right? We also see this with Heracles. Heracles must don the platinum wig and wear the dress and then enter into the plane, the field of Mars, where he faces that greatest of challenges, where they drug him and set him ablaze, where he dies and is born anew into the stars as deity. Right? But it is through that initiation, through that facing of the other, through that upset and through that death, that Heracles achieves transcendence. You know, for Heracles, donning that dress is the most attacking of things that they could have done. They were that absolute masculine, you know, it's that facing of the other side, you know. And that's what's so necessary. And that's what that entering the field of Aries is about, what that tower energy is about. It's about facing what you fear, what you can't handle, being exposed, going through the challenge. And for Heracles, that was embracing the feminine and facing death, right? He had to embrace the feminine and face death in order to ascend to the heights. What is our tower here? What is the energy that we have to face? And this is energy, right, that we don't see it coming because we can't see it coming, because we're so caught up in ourselves often. And it is that tower that shows us where our weaknesses are, that tells us what we need to do in order to evolve and to grow. So let's see where this energy is going. Wow. Futility, the 7 of Swords. This is another energy that has been manifesting so much. And this is something that we really need to confront. This is energy, right? The 7 of Swords is building off of the success of the 6. right? Building upon that pure scientific reason and trying to go to higher heights even still. But what we see is when we try to expand upon that seven of pure reason, we enter into conflict again. Now we are engaging in that overthinking. We are slowing ourselves down. We are preventing ourselves from being in that active movement. You know, the reasoned actor moves in flow. They can move at a steady pace. They can do what is necessary. They can do what is safest without holding themselves back. That interference is that energy of doubt, anxiety, right? It's that energy that prevents us from becoming our highest self, from manifesting our desires. And what we're seeing is that this futility, this inability to act, this consistent doubting of the self is leading to that confrontation. It's leading to that moment where we must face the Aries, right? Where we must face the result of our inability to act, in our overthinking. Wow. We got that worry again. We had the worry yesterday, that 5 of discs. This is about building upon that foundational energy, the 4 of discs, the power, right? Building upon it and struggling, facing resistance. How do we move beyond our foundational energy of the home and engage with that successful energy in the earth, that building, where we build something tangible, right? What we're seeing here is that these energies are leading into one another quite clearly. That futility prevents us from acting, and that worry prevents us from building. The reason why we haven't manifested the 6 of success is because we are not doing enough in the earth. We are meeting resistance, and then we are holding ourselves back again. With this energy, we are pushing too hard. It's like a give and pull. In one end, we are not trying hard enough. And on the other end, we are trying way too hard. Way too hard. So there's this need to reorient, right? We're not radically out of balance, but we're out of balance enough that these two are playing into each other, and they're leading to this destructive energy. They're leading to this confrontation. But if we can face that tower, the 9 of gain is our reward. Wow, where's this going? Okay. That 4 of cups, that foundational loving energy. Those core relationships, those core loving connections in your life, those sustaining relationships. What we're seeing here with that 4 of cups with the luxury is that in order to manifest this 9, in order to be in that gain, in order to overcome the tower, the need is to be connected to those foundational relationships, to be in that flow, to be on that, to be reliant upon these energies, upon these forces, right? How do we overcome the destructive force? How do we face that which tries to destroy us? We do it by relying and going to those energies that sustain us and fulfill us, that love us, right? That give us the energy that is needed. And the power of that 4 of cups, that luxury energy, is that these energies stay. They stay when it gets hard, right? They stay when it is intense. So who are these energies in your life? Who are those people who have grace for you, who are willing to be with you through the changing of the tides? It is them that will help you face this tower. And when we can face that tower, the gain will come. This is a lesser loss, right? You go through this loss. We go through this battle, through this challenge in order to manifest that 9, right? It's an intense challenge, but it is one that we can balance. We just need to bring things into flow. And we see here it's already manifesting. Where's this going? Wow. That feminine energy, right? How do we overcome this violence? How do we get back into flow? How do we bring this into fruition? It's not just enough to be the magus. What we're seeing is, while the magus and the prince, that inspiring energy, that energy of being able to manifest your desire, can lead to that gain of the nines. But in order to truly get out of this negativity, in order to truly manifest and to evolve, we also must be the priestess. We have to bring in that divine feminine. We got to balance these energies, right? And that priestess is the first feminine in the tarot. It is the birth of the feminine, right? The priestess is the one who can give birth to form, who can conjure in her unconscious mind and project into her conscious self, who goes through that process of building into the earth, of flowing with the waters, of weaving, of manifesting that energy over time through disciplined action, right? So what we're seeing here is, when we can embody both of these energies, that conscious actor and that unconscious birther, when we can bring these together, that's how we overcome the futility, right? And we see here, it's this mother energy that is at the heart of this cup energy. It's this loving mother energy, which is going to come from you flowing with these people. Flowing with these core relationships will help you to connect to that priestess, to embody that priestess, and to manifest that energy into your own current predicament. Where's this going? We saw this energy yesterday. How beautiful. How beautiful. It is that princess of earth, the earth of earth. When you see this energy, I always think of Artemis. Always think of Artemis, that incredible virgin, right? But that virgin in her most natural state, the human in its most natural state, returning to that earth, doing what is necessary, being that hunter, that survivor, right? And when we see this energy here, we are about being that mother energy to this divine child, about giving birth to this energy through that familial energy, of nurturing this energy. And that earthiness of earth, right? This is about going into the earth. If we wish to manifest the nine, we have to return to the earth. We have to go down into that energy. We have to embody the physical nature. We have to be in our body like the mother. We have to engage in physical creation. We have to transform this energy, right? Because that prince energy is stuck in the air. It's stuck in the imagination. And even though it has this incredible, inspiring fire, it is not manifesting what is tangible. But look, this prince returns to what is tangible when they can connect to that virgin, to that Artemis, to that Cori energy, right? When we can learn to be that protector, nurturer of this energy, right? And that prince will have to rise to the occasion and become the knight. It is the knight who saves the princess. The prince, the prince can't. They have to rise to that occasion. So what we're seeing here, when we can embody that mother energy, nurture this princess through these loving connections, this energy can transform that prince, cause them to be in the earth, cause them to take responsibility and nurture that next generation. And then we can see that magus come into play to manifest that powerful gain. But it's when we connect to the earth through that love, through that femininity in the water. Wow, beautiful. All right, let's now talk up and down. We'll start here. So that worry, right? That worry energy is because we're showing up as a prince, right? We're showing up as a prince rather than showing up as a knight, and we are not able to provide and take care of that princess because we are stuck in the air. And the energy of how to get over this is about going into that earth, taking responsibility, protecting and raising this energy, becoming what is needed, facing the challenge of the princess and becoming what is needed in order to provide and to protect and to sustain and to love, to educate, right? And that princess represents so much potential, right? She is that earth of earth. And the princess is also a 7 and the most positive of the court cards. It represents that potential to achieve everything. She precludes the energy of the universe, the Kori reformed in its divine sense, that mother reborn through divine imitation, the completion of the cycle itself. So, of course, she manifests that gain. But we need to nurture this energy first. We have to help her manifest and grow. This gain will come as a long-term commitment to her. And that's how you overcome that worry, through taking responsibility, through building into the earth, through becoming that knight, through lowering yourself out of the air and turning that fire towards that earth of earth, that princess, that responsibility, that loving child that needs nurturing. All right, let's look here. That 9 of gain, right? We can manifest this 9 of gain when we can learn to face our trials and tribulation. When we can go through that field of Mars and come out better for it, right? And at that field of Mars, we overcome the worry. Our worry here is our inability. Our worry here is our inability to build in the earth and take responsibility and to do what is necessary. And our 7 of swords or futility is from overthinking and self-doubt and anxiety. And these energies must be faced and must be understood. We have to reflect upon ourselves, right? And how do we reflect upon ourselves? Through that loving community energy, through that 4 of cups, through our close, loving supports who can see us truly, who want us to manifest that pearl, right? And that's how we do. We face this tower. We overcome the futility and the worry. And we manifest that 9 through the love of that community which supports and sustains us. And we do it together. Right? Wow. The futility, the most difficult of the energy. You know, the worry is something tangible. We can understand the worry. We see what needs to be happened. It's very clear, you know. In order to overcome the worry, you got to get out of your head and you got to get into the earth, right? Very, very clear. And we can actualize that, do the work that is necessary. This energy, on the other hand, is a lot more difficult, but it is one that must be faced. And what we see here is the balancing of forces, the masculine and the feminine, the unconscious and the conscious mind. Becoming that truly balanced actor that can manifest their will in loving flow and harmony with the world around them. And this is kind of the goal of every true magus, of every true person on that magical path, right? How can I embody the priestess and the magus combined? That's truly what the universe is, right? What that energy of the lovers is, what that energy of the art card is. It is the coming together of the priestess and the magus. When we can bring these energies together, that's how we get over the overthinking, because we recognize our ability and we're able to flow with ourselves. Your body can talk to your mind, right? Beautiful. So that's the message. It's all about learning to face this trial, to take responsibility, to take that nurturing seriously, right? To become that balanced character, that one that can overcome the futility and the worry and manifest that gain. And we manifest that gain in the earth through this loving connection and through that embracing of the next generation, of doing it in that selfless way, in building outside of ourselves. We have to overcome that energy of the prince and become that knight. We have to balance the priestess and the magus in order to let go of the futility of the worry and manifest that 9. That's the message, everyone. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. And we're going to do one final sortes, and then we'll call it an evening. All right. Lewis Carroll's Adventures in Wonderland. and through the looking glass. Muses, what is the message from Lewis Carroll? Inspire us this evening. I don't know what you mean by your way, said the queen. All the ways about here belong to me. But why did you come out here at all? She added in a kinder tone. Courtesy while you're thinking what to say. It saves time. I don't know what you mean by your way, said the queen. All the ways about here belong to me. For we are all children of that divine mother, right? But why did you come out here at all? She added in a kinder tone. Courtesy while you're thinking what to say. It saves time. Courtesy while you're thinking what to say. It saves time. Are we stuck in hubris? Are we unable to see outside of ourselves? Do we not recognize the forces that are standing in front of us? Do you have that courtesy? All right. Peace and love, everyone. And I hope I see you again tomorrow for more live tarot in Sortes. Until then, take care.